MGTOW money. This is Canadian MGTOW, having fun, and not giving a shit. Today's MGTOW money video is part 2 of an executive summary of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. We now resume with Chapter 9. Chapter 9, Persistence. The sustained effort necessary to induce faith. Persistence, the 8th step to accumulate riches, is an extremely important factor to achieve anything. It's an important habit or practice you need to have to develop faith and succeed in your endeavors. Hill has described several examples of people who have shown their will and determination by being unbelievably persistent. For instance, think about Thomas Edison. Do people even try after failing 10 times? Never mind 10,000 times. Another great example of persistence can be learned from the legendary Bruce Lee, who captured millions of hearts all over the world. He was chosen for a movie, but was very disappointed when the role was given to another actor. However, he didn't give up and sought new roles even when he had to struggle. So, how to develop persistence? Well, first off, your willpower acts as a bane to develop persistence, and when it's combined with desire, it becomes an unstoppable combination. Chapter 10, Power of the Mastermind, the Driving Force. Power, the 9th step to be taken to achieve money, is as essential as the other factors mentioned throughout the book. Power helps you make money, but its responsibility doesn't end because it teaches you how to maintain your riches, which is as important as making money. There are many ways to gain knowledge, but the easiest way to accomplish that is through intelligence, experience and research. However, when that knowledge is converted to power, when you organize all your plans and put them into action, success is just a stone's throw away. According to Hill, the mastermind is of paramount importance if an individual seeks to have power. The mastermind is a synchronization of effort and knowledge between people in order to attain definite purposes. Now that you know how important it is to create organized plans and test them practically, you can also add intelligence and persistence along with these factors while you're selecting your mastermind group. Chapter 11. The Mystery of Sex Transmutation. In this section, Hill describes the importance of sex transmutation, which is the 10th step to guide you towards accumulating wealth. Sexual urge is very powerful, and often, men lose focus and risk their lives, career and money in order to quench their desires. However, if that sexual energy can be transformed into a creative energy by harnessing and redirecting it, it has the ability to help you overcome most obstacles. This is not to be misunderstood, as Hill isn't promoting celibacy, but what he's saying is that since our sexual urges are insatiable, they can be converted into something that's very productive. Sexual desires create an intimacy between a woman and man, and although that's natural and good, one can achieve greater heights by controlling the urges and transmute them into a creative force. Go MGTOW. Chapter 12, The Subconscious Mind, the Connecting Link. This section is an amalgamation of powerful thoughts, faith, and the subconscious. We've already learned how you can train your mind into believing that you're meant to achieve success, and this chapter elaborates more on that theory. Incredibly, we can voluntarily plant any plan we desire in our subconscious, and this is the 11th step towards gaining riches. Of course, it's not really possible to control everything in our subconscious mind, but it's not that hard to think and start believing that it is indeed possible to achieve anything you want. Since our subconscious works tirelessly 24/7, thus dominating our thoughts, desires and actions, this is imperative to be successful. All the steps outlined in the book are geared towards reaching out to your subconscious and training it to develop creativity, faith and belief to walk the path that leads to a better future. Chapter 13, The Brain, a broadcasting and receiving station for thought. In this chapter, Hill explains how creativity, imagination and the subconscious work together to achieve prosperity. He also elaborates further on how the subconscious, sexual transmutation and the mastermind group work. While our brain is an amazing machine, it's known to possess a receiving and broadcasting station that guides us our day-to-day life. With about 14 million nerve cells, the brain works like a factory, and the greater the vibration it receives, the higher the chances to receive other important signals. In effect, the subconscious works as the broadcasting station while our creative imagination assumes the role of the receiving station. Therefore, our creative imagination receives several signals transmitted by others around us. The vibrations can be increased through emotions, and this enables the brain to open up and receive more signals. Once this happens, our chances of attaining success become infinitely greater. Chapter 14, The Sixth Sense, the Door to the Temple of Wisdom. Whether you refer to it as an intuition, a gut feeling or a hunch, the sixth sense is the 13th step that is responsible to guide an individual to accumulate wealth. While the sixth sense has the ability to gain access to our infinite intelligence, it can only be mastered after all the 12 steps have been practiced. Hill states that it's not possible to explain how the sixth sense works, but it can only be understood after you've experienced it. Since the sixth sense has a connection with the infinite intelligence, it provides a combination of spiritual and mental thoughts that can guide you to associate with the universal mind. It not only warns us about impending dangers, but it also provides clues about silent opportunities that could slip away from us when unnoticed. Hill declares that he isn't a believer in miracles, but there is a power that could transform things beyond our wildest imagination, which appear like miracles. Chapter 15, How to Outwit the 6 Ghosts of Fear. According to Hill, there are 6 fears that could impact your life with negative outcomes, and they can also become our major obstacles in our path to find riches. The 6 fears include poverty, old age, criticism, illness, love and death. For instance, we suffer from the fear of poverty during a recession, and at other times it's the fear of death that makes us lose control over our thoughts. These fears not only prevent you from becoming rich, but it also spreads indecision, doubt, indifference and procrastination like the plague. However, fortunately, Hill maintains that the answers to overcome these fears lie within the very symptoms of our fears, and while they can't be eradicated easily, it isn't impossible either. For instance, if you're always worried due to the fear of poverty, you can develop a decisive attitude and build your confidence and faith to travel down paths you've never traveled before. Chapter 16, The Devil's Workshop. Apart from the 6 fears discussed in the previous chapter, Hill talks about another evil factor that could prevent you from becoming rich. In fact, he states that this evil is even more dangerous and deadlier than the 6 fears, and it's so deeply sewn into our minds that it becomes very difficult to eliminate it. This evil, the darkest of all, is your susceptibility to negative influences, and if you don't take actions immediately to analyze yourself to figure out whether you're under these influences, success could be just a dream. To extinguish this evil, Hill suggests that it's important to first understand that we, as humans, are lazy and indifferent by nature. We are easily influenced by negative influences and thoughts that might ruin our wonderful future. Therefore, once it's understood, it's imperative to protect yourself by setting up certain habits that fight with all the fears you face. If an individual recognizes that he's easily swayed by negative influences, he must build a protective wall around himself to block his mind against such influences. Furthermore, success isn't impossible, so one must quit making excuses to cover up his mistakes. In addition, You can always surround yourself with people who have the ability to support your dreams and have a positive influence on you. This concludes this book summary. So what do you think? Did this book summary save you a few bucks at the bookstore? Or if you don't own the book, are you tempted to get a copy? What books would you recommend? This is a financial journey. Travel light. If you enjoyed this video, please comment, rate and subscribe. Thank you. This is Canadian MGTOW, signing off. Save yourself. Go MGTOW.